Fine. Micah, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can. What are your negative outlooks on our generation's confidence?
Well, I think sometimes it might be unrealistic. Some millennials' assessment of their ability and their readiness for things. I love the spunk and the get up and go, but to understand what it really takes might be unrealistic.
Okay.
Whether you'd call that a negative or not, but I think of jobs, and over the last number of years, people have started to talk more about balance and boundaries in their lives, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, sometimes students will almost think, got my degree now, and I'm going to have balance, I'm going to have time for my friends, if I'm getting in a relationship, and I'm going to become quickly promoted, and I'm going to work 6 hours a day, and these things don't quite all come together in terms of what it takes to get advanced in that. So
unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Not in a negative way, but naive a bit.
All right. Are we gonna
You can just
go? Okay. My second question is, how has confidence affected your employees' work experience?
Well, thinking about the generational thing again.
It can be any generation. It's kind of like your perspective on the different generations, including ours, but their confidence. How has it affected their work experience?
Well, certainly learning new things, that comes to my mind. Your confidence or your view of how you can do. I think maybe of technology, and since I was just doing that today and you're recording, we just implemented a whole new computer system. You guys are both freshmen, so you wouldn't have known it, but we had, our portal was down for a little while this summer because we had to do the cutover. So our last new computer system might have been 15 years ago. Now, there are some of those features from that implementation 15 years ago that never got used in offices because people, they were too awkward trying to learn something new, so they always went back and did it the old way. And that's one of the things we really tried to say when we did it this time. We don't want that. We want people, even if it takes longer for a while, to try it enough where you get familiar. Now, in technology, it's a big one because you feel really awkward. You feel really silly. Are you right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever tried these things with your left hand? You've done some of these exercises. You don't feel very comfortable. You don't feel very confident. But if I wrote my name 10 times, I'll tell on my wife. Now, she's not a millennial for sure. Her old dumb phone was going bad, and she says to me, well, maybe I should get the smartphone now. So her plan was up, so I get her an iPhone. And I didn't even realize it, but I'm hooking it up. I know, I'm just reading, trying to get contacts, and that thing, it activated. I didn't even know it. It was so easy to do. I didn't even know I was activating it. So this was early morning, so I get up a lot earlier than she does. So I said something, and she had a fit and a half. She wasn't ready. I had to go slower. So coming back to work, that can be an issue at work. We, as recently as 5-6 years ago, we had two main groups of students, seminary students and college students. Now we have online students. We have students in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Detroit. We have students that come for short periods, students from Korea that come for a week. Well, the systems, getting back to your question of employees, they're used to doing things a certain way and pretty much knew it technology and changes. If I'm not confident, I'm going to drag, and I'm going to say it's not good or the change is the problem. So a person's confidence level is going to impact their willingness to try and to learn the new way. So that's kind of a long answer, but it's a big deal.
Okay. How could or how has confidence hurt your job and or your personal life?
Well, I've had to learn. I should say I'm learning. I haven't learned, but I'm learning that with the Lord's help, we can do things when we aren't completely confident, and that sometimes the decision comes before the confidence. And I really, really mean this, that we don't feel confident, but we believe the Lord put us in a situation, so we're going to do it anyway. I don't like doing this kind of junk. I like being with people, but I was on a TV show this morning up in South Bend, so I thought, how will I do? I looked at the questions, and then I actually prayed. I said, I'm just going to try to have the Lord help me relax. I remembered years ago when I was going to grad school, I'm not a great speller, so we had to take comprehensive exams, the old days blue books you had to write in there, and I was sure I was going to flunk my comprehensives because too many misspelled words. So I honestly, I took it to the Lord, and I said, you put me in this program, you want me to do it, and it was just an intentional decision to do it even before the confidence. Then the confidence comes sometimes after you make the decision to do it. So that's a couple of examples how it's affected me.
All right. What are your thoughts on overconfident employees?
It's a problem. It can be a significant problem. Let me say this. Often the person that appears to be the overconfident person is actually the exact opposite. They really lack confidence, and they seem to try to act like they're super confident, and really it's the exact opposite. But it's a problem. They can come across like a know-it-all. They don't want to collaborate. Collaboration is so important in any kind of a job situation where you respect each other's views, you respect each other's ideas. And if I'm so confident in my own ways, I'm just going to rush ahead and do it. Maybe you've heard the expression, ask forgiveness, not permission, and no one's that good. No one is that good. So it's a problem at work. It hurts teamwork, and there's going to be mistakes probably.
All right. How is overconfidence spread or portrayed through the media today?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I think it is, and it's subtle, but it's powerful. That if you can't do it, there's something wrong with you, or if you have to slow down or get help or get permission. Trying to think of ads or media. Certainly, I'm a bit of a cultural misfit, not totally, but if you told me to name the stars of 6 movies, I probably would get 1 at the most. But if you think about the sports media, it really just exudes if there's one mistake made. I know these guys get millions of dollars, but if just one mistake is made, one bad play gets analyzed forever, like what's wrong with them. Maybe nothing's wrong with them. They just didn't make that play, or they just didn't. They missed it. So it's a mindset almost of perfection, and the standard. And this affects school, by the way, too. The standard starts at 100 instead of the standard starting at sort of average and going up. The standard starts at 100 or perfection and goes down. And then little kids, big kids, youth, millennials, we watch that, adults, and we think that's sort of the norm. It's weight for girls and guys alike. It's a standard of perfection. Everybody has to have this cute little 16-inch waist or what's wrong with me, and so I think it really does set an unrealistic bar out there. It's subtle, but it's strong.
Okay. One thing that I saw in research was how the millennials' parents have taught us to kind of be not necessarily overconfident, but have a lot of confidence with what we do. So how do you believe you raised or are raising your kids to have this kind of confidence?
Well, one thing we tried to do, we always believed the teacher, probably before our kids. And a lot of parents don't, honestly. They're trying to instill the confidence so much, and there's a lot of living vicariously through your kids again. And people of my generation, the baby boomers, there's a lot of us doing that through our kids, and not all, but the end of the baby boomers have millennial kids. So there's that vicariously living, and it's like you are the best. You should achieve at this level, and if you don't, the coach has a problem. You're not playing enough, or the teacher has a problem. And we certainly weren't perfect parents, but we sort of reacted the other way. We tended to believe the teacher first and kid later.
All right. And my last question is, why do you think our generation is so confident?
Well, I think the parenting had a lot to do with it. The parents, the sort of the culture. Everybody got trophies for playing sports. When we were kids, some did, some didn't. I played as a younger kid, and then I didn't have any athletic ability, so I went to music and other things. Everybody gets a trophy, a participation ribbon. So the culture of inclusion, of acceptance, that's one. The other one is the parents just drilling it into the kids. You can do better, you can achieve, and you're told that enough times, you believe it.
All right, thanks.
You bet.
Okay, my questions.
All the easy ones, huh?
Well, maybe.
I'm teasing.
My questions are more on the positive side of confidence. How would you define self-confidence?
Well, Romans talks about having a proper judgment of yourself, a proper view, and that's what I think sort of biblical self-confidence is, a true view, not too low or too high, but an accurate view of what you can do. Our pastor last Sunday, when you said confidence, I meant to bring this, and I don't think I did. I'll see if I can remember it. He was talking. We're doing a series from Acts on being bold, and he talked about your sweet spot. Let's see if I can get these three. He talked about our passions, opportunities, and gifts. Your passions, opportunities, and gifts, and how the Lord brings those together, and where they intersect, he called your sweet spot. So I would define it as being in a place where those things come together. But I go back to that thing I said earlier. There's a decision piece. Satan tricks us all the time, and especially about a view of ourselves. So the decision that I'm going to do it, even if I don't feel confident, I think then the Lord will bring the feeling later. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know, my little TV interview this morning, I butchered one word. I was trying to say something and a completely different word came out. Now I caught myself and we laughed. I could dwell on that and have no confidence and say I'll never do that again. And you know, I did that probably 10, 12 years ago, and I'm sticking with my decision. But another school where I used to work as provost, I would read that we had this, before graduation, an honors dinner, and we would give special cords and certificates to the honors grads, and we had a lot of international students, and I just butchered this young woman's name. I mean, butchered it, and she snarled at me and said something really nasty. It wasn't a Christian school. And I decided I'll never read names again at graduation. I haven't. I came here 6 years ago. I don't read names. But so it impacted my confidence in reading names. Now, where I used to live in Pittsburgh, and we'd have these names with maybe 7, 8 consonants and 1 vowel. You don't even know where to start. But I haven't yet gone back. So it's my definition is doing it because it's the right thing, even when you don't feel like it, and then the feeling will come.
All right. How does confidence help you in your line of work?
Well, I have to have a certain confidence to. I was thinking about that question. What you might ask me. Things I don't feel like I still do. Things I don't want to do. I'm an extrovert, but it's still tough to meet brand new people, and you know, I've got confidence in the Lord enough that He'll give me what I need at the moment if I just do it. So down in chapel this morning, Tiberius had asked me, could I have dinner with the speaker tonight? And my wife and I, we can't. We have company. I said, I've got to go meet him. And everybody's crowding up. I said, well, I'll just go over and sort of, hey, how you doing? So I think confidence helps me. That I've decided I'm going to do it, even when at the moment and I might not want to, but I have to. Lots of different things that I wouldn't maybe naturally want to do, but the experience, again, the gifts, the passion, and the opportunity. When the opportunity is there, you got to do it.
Do you think there's a difference between confidence and arrogance?
Yes, huge difference.
What would be the difference or the dividing line for you?
Well, yeah, that's how do I explain it? Maybe it's your general attitude and your general demeanor with people. An arrogant person, nobody wants to be around. You're turned off. They tend to say in their nonverbals, the world centers around me. A confident person tends to, his or her demeanor says, we can do this. An arrogant person says, I can do it. A confident person, the demeanor says, we can do it. Yeah, and arrogance, it's bad. It's unbiblical. Pride comes before a fall. So, yeah, it might be a thin line, but it doesn't have to be. I'm absolutely convinced to be confident in your work, in your life, in your walk with the Lord, your family, doesn't have to be arrogance.
What are some of the benefits of confidence?
Well, I think as you gain confidence in a good way, not arrogance, but as you gain it, your energy that you expend can go for the things you want to get done instead of towards worry. We only have so much energy, and the more we expend on on worry and anxiety and stress, it takes away energy that could have been expended toward really getting the project done or really accomplishing the task. So that'd be one. Another one, I'm so convinced the Lord puts situations, life experiences, life in our lives to help others. So as I learn about becoming confident, I can help others become confident too. So those will be a couple.
Okay. So I guess this is a similar question, but is confidence positive or negative?
Well, I think confidence is positive. Arrogance is very, very negative. So if you make that distinction, I think it's positive.
What does confidence help you personally, and then just people in general accomplish?
Well, I think confidence, again, biblical confidence. I like the word courage. Have you studied the word courage?
No.
It's a cousin, and I actually think courage is almost a better word, a more complete word. But it helps me do things that aren't easy. It helps me do things that aren't popular. It helps me do things that not everybody will agree with. So that's one thing I'd say, that confidence or courage. Again, courage that the Lord, we're told in James, if we lack wisdom, to pray for it, and we'll get it. And don't be double-minded. I think it's not stretching that passage to say have confidence that the Lord will give it to you. So confidence, biblical confidence, I think really helps give me the courage to do things that are going to be tough and not everybody will be happy with. Helps others, the same thing. We get faced with tough situations. You in chapel today?
Yes.
And when he talked about telling people, hey, it's my life, take it, he was confident. Like that word's in Philippians, being confident of this very thing, that he who began that good work in you will complete it until the day of Christ. So if you take it, it's going to preach the gospel more. So it helps anybody do very, very, very difficult things. We don't need confidence to do the mundane, to do the ordinary. We need confidence or courage to do the extraordinary and the tough things.
Okay. How do confident people, when you're around them, how do they inspire you, or how do they make you feel?
Upbeat, happy, optimistic, like we can get this done.
So the confidence is almost contagious?
Yes. Yep.
And then, just for fun, who's the most confident person you know?
That's a tough one. Let me think here. Like at work or any place?
Anywhere.
Well, I've got a friend named Rich, who is one of the most confident people I know, and he's on my mind today. He just sent an email about some serious physical things that just discovered yesterday. I haven't even answered him yet. In his own life, his heart's going from 39 to 130. It's like doing wacko stuff. But he is such a confident person. So Rich, another one's Jerry. I got a friend named Jerry that he always dreams in color. There's no black and white. It's always color. He's always on to ideas, and I'll be cordial. I'll be friendly, and he'll call me again in another month or 6 weeks and say, "Did you do it yet? Did you try it?" So, yeah, Jerry, he just, and he doesn't get. He'll laugh at himself a little bit, but he won't get beat down that maybe 1 out of 100 ideas will get tried. The way he's wired, he's just so confident we can do these things. Yeah, so probably Jerry and Rich, a couple of my friends, be the most.
Right. I'm done, or do you have any more?
I'm done as well.
Great.
Okay, so when's your project due?